So now you guys see why I tripped over my words. Now you see why she's so great. So if you received the invitation in the mail or anything, Rachel designed the invitations. That was her designing them in the midst of everything she was going through. She's a servant leader. The first thing she said is, how can I help? So Rachel, thank you. I appreciate it. So up next, we have Franklin Coleman. Franklin is also an employee for Partners in Hope. He's our reentry career specialist. He's going to come up and share a story with you guys. So guys, please welcome Franklin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Franklin Coleman. I stand before you today to share my story. It's not an easy story to tell, but it's one I believe that can bring hope. My life has been filled with pain, struggle, and mistakes, but also with grace, forgiveness, and redemption. And I hope when you hear it, you will see no matter how far you fall, there's always a way up. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, into a very large family, 13 children in all. My father and my mother had 3 children, and I am the oldest of those 3. Life was not easy. We grew up in poverty, but we got by through what we had. When I was 6 years old, my life changed forever. My father died. At an age when kids are learning about security and trust, I experienced loss and broken heartedness. The same year, something darker began. I was sexually abused by a maternal great uncle that abuse left deep wounds, anger, shame, confusion, and pain that I carried for years. At 14, I moved in with my paternal grandmother. Moving into my grandmother's house, Hyde Park, was a turning point for me. It was a safer community, and she gave me stability. I began to thrive. I excelled in school, and I became a straight A student. I received a scholarship to college to study pre-med. For the first time in my life, I believed that I had a future. But even opportunity, I made choices that got me off track. In college, I got involved with drugs. It started off with experimentation, but it led to addiction. My grades dropped. I lost my scholarship, and I dropped out of college. I went back to my grandmother's house in Chicago. And I didn't have a good relationship with my mom. And my grandmother told me, she says, Franklin, I'm getting older. You need to build a relationship with your mom. I didn't listen to her. I continued to run the streets. In 1983, I moved to Milwaukee with my sister. On the outside, I seemed fine. I worked jobs, looked responsible, but behind closed doors, I was a functioning addict. Eventually, I opened a drug house. That choice changed my life forever. I had an altercation with another drug dealer, and I wound up taking his life. And for that, I was convicted and sentenced to life in prison with parole eligibility. Prison was a dark chapter for me. I struggled mentally and emotionally. I went to psychological services and I was put on heavy medication. I'll never forget that. And I felt like a zombie walking around alive in a zombie state. I was not living. Then one day, in one of my visits with my psychiatrist, he said something to me I would never forget as long as I live. He told me something that went off my head that made me think after all those years that if I did not forgive myself, no one else will. Forgiveness starts within me. And when I got back to my cell that day, I got down on my knees and I prayed and asked God, please take the pain away. Please come into my life and give me peace of mind. Oh my God. After I accepted Christ in my life, my whole life changed. I began to pour myself into other people. I've always been a smart guy, but in prison, once I accepted Christ and started to change my life for the better, I began to help others. I became a tutor. I started writing letters for guys, doing everything I can to give back because I felt so terrible inside. I was trying my best not to think of myself to not be selfish, to help other people. I'm just speaking right now from my heart. I haven't wrote something, but I'm just speaking how I'm feeling right now from my heart. It brings like so many memories when I think about that time in my life. I did a lot while I was in there to try to help people. After serving 23 years and 4 months in prison, I went to parole board for the first time. And unbeknownst to me, they gave me a 9-month defer, minimum custody, a deep priority to go home. And I knew then that I had the opportunity to go home, to get out of prison. On April the 12th, 2022, I was released from prison. My second day out, I went down those 17 steps to community warehouse parking. I saw the love there. I saw the kindness, the acceptance. People were so nice and so kind. I had never been around them in 23 years to see that and to feel love genuinely from people when I went there. So I continued to go every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. I was there. And I wound up getting into the cohort that they had. I'm a graduate of the cohort they had in May of 2022. I started rebuilding my life. My first job was a dishwasher at Cafe Hollywood. It was a humble work, but it gave me pride, and it gave me a new start. Then I applied for a job at Kentucky Fried Chicken, while still maintaining the job at Cafe Hollywood. And I was hired as a cook, and then I continued to excel in that job. I still had a job at Cafe Hollywood, remember that all the time, washing dishes, and I became a cook, shift manager, assistant general manager, then I became the general manager. I wound up quitting that job as a dishwasher, then got a job third shift as a manager at McDonald's, but still general manager. Yes. All the time that I did that, I was trying my best to not fail, not to be a failure to myself. because I was feeling, since I had this breakthrough in my life, that I wanted to stay as busy as possible. Since I had this second chance in life, I wanted to do the right thing. I'm totally off track what I wrote. I'm just speaking from my heart. This is how I'm feeling. This is totally from my heart. But I think the real breakthrough for me came in November 2024. When I was hired at Community Warehouse, Partners in Hope, as the job and career specialist. This has been more than a job to me. It really has. This has been my purpose. I get to help men and women everyday guys that's been out of prison. And I can understand those guys because I walked in those shoes that they walked in. And I know what it feels like to struggle, and to feel broken. And I connect with those people because I've been here. And I connect with those guys with the stories. And I get my joy when I get a text, a phone call, or somebody come to see me in my office and tell me how much they appreciate me helping find a job. And I love my job. I've always been the type of person that's kind of overzealous. I try to go overly young, and I really have been successful in that. I had a goal in December when we had our staff meeting. My goal was to get at least 40 guys a job for the year 2025. I have exceeded that number. I've got 61 guys. Since I've been working at Community Warehouse Partners in Hope, I have become a certified peer specialist. I am a student at Marquette University. I'm working towards my degree in human services. I'm a straight A student. When I look back, I see a child who lost his father and carried the scars of abuse. I see a young man who chose drugs and crime. I see a prisoner who nearly lost all hope. But I also see God's grace. I see mentors like Lieutenant Michael Dix and Phil Purcell. God, you still know how much you mean to me. They became more than mentors to me. They became my family. I see community and Partners in Hope that welcomed me and gave me the support that I needed. So today, I don't stand before you ashamed of my past. I stand grateful for my journey. My life is proof that no matter how broken things look, there's always hope. No matter how many mistakes you have made, you can rise again. And no matter how far you have fallen, God's grace can lift you up and give you a brand new beginning. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. To God be the glory for the things He has done. Thank you.